The camera clicked on, and the American influencer leaned back in her chair with a practiced smile, the kind her millions of followers recognized instantly. Behind her, a clean white apartment and soft LED lights gave the impression of authority and success. She adjusted her microphone and began talking about her recent travels, casually scrolling through photos on her phone. Then her tone shifted. She laughed and shook her head, saying the Philippines was nothing like the hype, describing it as dirty, disorganized, and unsafe. Short clips appeared on the screen: crowded streets, old houses, children playing barefoot, edited carefully to support her narrative. Her words were sharp but delivered lightly, as if she were just being honest. She compared the country to others she had visited, mocking the transportation, the neighborhoods, even the accents of people she met. "I don't know why people romanticize this place," she said, smirking. "There's really nothing special about it." Each sentence was wrapped in sarcasm, making it worse. She didn't realize that what felt like content to her felt like an attack to millions. Within minutes, the algorithm did its work. The video was shared, clipped, and reposted across platforms. View counts jumped rapidly. In Manila, overseas Filipino workers on night shifts paused to watch. Students, nurses, drivers, and teachers felt their stomachs tighten as they listened. This wasn't just criticism, it was humiliation broadcast to the world. Comment sections exploded. Some viewers defended her freedom of speech, but thousands more pushed back, explaining that she had shown only poverty, not people. Screens filled with messages saying, "You don't know us," and "You only saw what you wanted to see." But she didn't see those yet. She ended the video smiling, confident it would boost her engagement. As the screen went dark, she had no idea she had just ignited a global conversation, and placed herself at the center of a storm that would. The backlash began quietly, then all at once. At first, it was a handful of stitched videos and duets, Filipino creators calmly responding to the influencer's claims. A teacher explained the history behind the crowded streets she mocked. A filmmaker showed the same locations she criticized, but this time filled with laughter, food stalls, and families sharing stories. A nurse, still in hospital scrubs in the US, spoke directly to the camera, "I work 12-hour shifts saving lives here. I'm Filipino. Please don't tell me my country has no value." Within hours, the responses multiplied. Hashtags trended worldwide. Overseas Filipino workers, janitors, caregivers, engineers, shared their experiences of sacrifice and resilience. Instead of anger, most spoke with dignity. "We are more than what you filmed," one caption read. The contrast was powerful. While her video relied on sarcasm and shock, the replies were rooted in truth and lived experience. The influencer woke up to chaos. Her phone buzzed non-stop, notifications piling up faster than she could open them. Brands emailed her management team, asking for explanations. One sponsorship was quietly put on hold. She refreshed her page and watched her follower count drop by the thousands. For the first time, the comments weren't praising her honesty. They were asking questions she couldn't easily answer. Then she saw a video that stopped her scrolling. An elderly Filipino woman sat in a simple wooden home, speaking softly into the camera. "We don't have much," the woman said, smiling gently, "but when someone is hungry, we share. When someone is hurting, we help." There was no anger in her voice, only pride. The influencer felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. This wasn't cancel culture. This was a collective correction. For the first time, she realized she hadn't just insulted a place, she had insulted people, stories, and sacrifices she never bothered to understand. And the world was showing her the truth. Among the thousands of messages flooding her inbox, one email stood out, not angry, not threatening, but calm and respectful. It came from a small Filipino charity organization that worked with coastal communities affected by storms and poverty. The subject line read simply, "Come and see for yourself." The message explained that they had watched her video and the backlash that followed. Instead of condemning her, they invited her to visit the Philippines again, this time without luxury hotels, private drivers, or curated experiences. Just real people, real lives. Her management team advised her to ignore it. It's too risky, they warned. You'll lose more than you gain. But something inside her hesitated. The comments, the videos, the elderly woman's quiet pride, all of it lingered in her mind. After a sleepless night, she replied with a short message, "I'll come." Days later, she stepped off a small plane onto a humid airstrip far from the city. There were no cameras waiting, no fans, no brand banners. A local volunteer greeted her with a warm smile and a simple handshake. As they traveled to a small coastal village, she watched the scenery pass, narrow roads, modest homes, children waving as motorcycles passed. It wasn't what she had shown in her video. It was calmer. Human. In the village, families welcomed her without judgment. Children offered handmade bracelets. A mother insisted she eat with them, serving food prepared from what little they had. She felt uncomfortable, not because of danger, but because of generosity she hadn't earned. That night, there was no Wi-Fi, no scrolling, no comments to hide behind. Just the sound of waves and quiet conversations. Sitting under the dim light of a single bulb, listening to stories of storms survived and neighbors helped, she felt the weight of her assumptions begin to crack. This wasn't a place begging for validation. It was a place rich with dignity. And for the first time since her video went viral, she wondered if The morning began quietly, with the sound of waves breaking against the shore and roosters calling from a distance. The influencer followed a local nurse named Maria through the village, filming nothing, asking questions she should have asked long ago. Maria explained how many villagers worked abroad to support families back home, how storms took homes but not hope, and how helping one another was the only way to survive. The words stayed with her as they walked toward a small cemetery overlooking the sea. The graves were simple, wooden crosses, faded photographs, names carefully handwritten. Maria stopped in front of one marker and knelt. She brushed sand from the base and looked up slowly. "There's something you should know," she said. She explained that years ago, Maria had worked briefly in the United States as part of a medical exchange program. During that time, she and other Filipino nurses saved a man after a serious accident. The influencer's breath caught when Maria spoke the name. It was her father. Maria continued, her voice steady. After returning home, one of the nurses from that team volunteered during a powerful typhoon, helping evacuate families trapped by rising waters. He never made it back. His name was etched on the cross in front of them. The influencer felt her knees weaken. She stared at the grave, the ocean blurring through her tears. Memories rushed in, hospital corridors, doctors' voices, the miracle her family had called survival. She had never known who made that survival possible. Now she did. The country she had mocked, the people she had reduced to content, had once saved her family at the cost of their own lives. She dropped to the sand, sobbing uncontrollably, whispering apologies no camera could capture. In that moment, truth replaced ignorance. This was not a poor country. This was a nation of quiet heroes, people who gave everything, asked for nothing, and were strong enough to be forgotten. And she would never forget again. Weeks later, the influencer sat in front of her camera again, but this time, everything was different. There was no ring light, no background music, no confident smile rehearsed for engagement. Just a plain room and a tired face still marked by emotion. She took a deep breath, hesitated, and then pressed record. For several seconds, she couldn't speak. Tears filled her eyes before any words came out. "I was wrong," she finally said, her voice breaking. She admitted that she had judged an entire country through a narrow lens, chasing views instead of understanding. She spoke about the village, the families who shared food without question, and the people who lived with dignity despite hardship. Then she told the story she had never planned to share, the nurse, the grave by the sea, and the Filipino hero who helped save her father's life. She paused often, wiping her face, letting silence speak where excuses once lived. This video spread faster than the first, but for a different reason. Viewers who once defended her now listened quietly. Filipinos watched cautiously, some still hurt, others open to forgiveness. She didn't ask for sympathy. She didn't monetize the video. All ad revenue, she promised, would go to Filipino disaster relief and healthcare charities. More importantly, she committed to using her platform differently, to amplify voices rather than erase them. Comments slowly changed. "Thank you for learning," one read. "We don't forget, but we forgive," said another. Filipino creators she once ignored shared her apology, adding their own messages of healing. What could have ended her career became the moment that reshaped it. She ended the video with a simple line, "The Philippines didn't need me to defend it. It needed me to listen." The screen faded to black. This time, there was no storm waiting, only reflection. She had gone viral twice, once for tearing a country down, and once for being broken open by the truth. And in that breaking, she finally became Huma.